Science just proved the third eye is real. For thousands of years, mystics have spoken of a third eye, a gateway to higher consciousness located right in the center of the forehead. For most of modern history, this was dismissed as just a spiritual metaphor. But what if it wasn't just a metaphor? What if science is now uncovering a stunning biological truth behind this ancient symbol? Deep in the absolute center of your brain is a tiny pine cone-shaped organ called the pineal gland. For centuries, its purpose was a mystery. But now, researchers are unlocking secrets, suggesting this ancient spiritual symbol might be biologically real in a way no one ever expected. So, has science really proved the third eye is real? Well, the proof isn't what you think. We're going to show you the scientific evidence connecting this gland to light, to perception, and to your very experience of reality, and bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience. Section 1. The Ancient Mystery. The story of the third eye is woven into the fabric of human spirituality. In Hindu traditions, it's the Ajna chakra, the center of intuition. In Buddhism, it's a symbol of spiritual awakening. Even in ancient Egypt, many have noted the uncanny resemblance of the Eye of Horus to a cross-section of the human brain, with the pineal gland at the center. While this is likely a fascinating coincidence, it shows how long we've been trying to map our inner world. This idea wasn't just confined to the East. In the 17th century, the philosopher and scientist René Descartes became obsessed with the pineal gland. He noticed that while most brain structures are paired on the left and right, the pineal gland sits alone, right in the middle. This led him to a bold conclusion. He called it the principal seat of the soul, the meeting point between the physical body and the spiritual mind. For centuries, that's where the conversation stalled, a mix of spiritual belief and philosophical guesswork. The third eye was a powerful symbol, but nothing more. It was a mystery, waiting for science to take a closer look. And when it finally did, what it found was more astounding than Descartes could have ever imagined. Section 2. The Scientific Anchor. So what exactly is this thing? Anatomically, the pineal gland is a tiny endocrine gland, about the size of a pea, located near the center of your brain. Its pine cone shape is what gives it its name. For a long time, scientists were stumped. But today, neuroscience has confirmed its primary job, and it's absolutely vital. The pineal gland produces and secretes the hormone melatonin. You've probably heard melatonin called the sleep hormone, but it's really the master regulator of our circadian rhythms, the body's internal 24-hour clock that tells us when to feel tired or alert. Every night, as darkness falls, the pineal gland gets the signal to release melatonin, preparing the body for rest. When morning light hits your eyes, production stops, and you wake up. But here's a critical distinction. The pineal gland isn't the master clock itself. That title belongs to a spot in the hypothalamus called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. Think of the SCN as the central clock tower for your entire body. It receives direct information about light from your eyes. The SCN then acts like a conductor, telling the pineal gland when to play its part. The SCN keeps the time, and the pineal gland announces that time to the body by releasing melatonin. So science established the pineal gland as a key hormone producer tied to our sleep-wake cycle. But is that it? Ancient traditions didn't talk about melatonin. They talked about a third eye that could see beyond ordinary sight. Was this just a lucky guess? Or did they understand something deeper about this gland's link to light and perception? Section 3. Building the Bridge. This is where things get really interesting. The so-called proof we're talking about isn't one single study, but a convergence of clues from evolutionary biology and neurochemistry. First, let's look back in our evolutionary history. In mammals, the pineal gland isn't directly light-sensitive, but in other vertebrates, like some lizards and frogs, they have what's called a parietal eye, a literal light-sensing third eye on top of their head. This organ has a lens, cornea, and retina, and helps them sense light to regulate body temperature and orientation. Scientists have discovered that our pineal gland shares a common evolutionary origin with this ancient third eye. It's an evolutionary echo, where the old function of direct light sensing was adapted into the indirect system we have today. The very idea of a third eye is buried deep in our biology. Next, let's talk about a molecule called DMT. N,N-dimethyltryptamine is a powerful psychedelic known to cause profound, mystical experiences. A compelling theory, popularized by Dr. Rick Strassman, suggests the pineal gland might produce DMT. This led to speculation that the gland could be the source of the brain's own spirit molecule, maybe released during dreams or near-death experiences. Now, it is critical to be clear here. This is still a speculative theory. While trace amounts of DMT have been found in the pineal glands of rats, there is currently no conclusive evidence that the human pineal gland produces it in large enough quantities to cause psychoactive effects. In fact, a 2019 study showed that even after a rat's pineal gland was removed, its brain could still produce DMT in other regions. So, the link isn't proven. But the very possibility that our brains can synthesize this molecule creates a tantalizing, if unconfirmed, bridge between biology and spirituality. Section 4. The proof and the payoff. So what is the real proof from this video's title? The proof is that this ancient concept of a third eye has an astonishingly real biological counterpart, a gland in the center of your brain that is intimately linked to light, perception, and our internal rhythms. The activation of the third eye isn't some mystical event. It's about supporting the healthy, natural function of your pineal gland. And here's the problem. Modern life is actively working against it. The pineal gland's whole job is to interpret light and dark cycles, but we live in a world flooded with artificial light. The blue light from our phones, computers, and TVs is especially disruptive. Using them at night can suppress melatonin production, tricking your pineal gland into thinking it's still daytime. This throws your circadian rhythms into chaos, leading to poor sleep, mood swings, and feeling totally out of sync. This is where you can take control. You can take scientifically backed steps to support your pineal gland's function. First, get more natural light. Sunlight, especially in the morning, is crucial for setting your internal clock, the SCN, which then properly directs your pineal gland. Second, embrace the dark. Turn off your screens an hour or two before bed. Make your bedroom as dark as possible to let your pineal gland do its job and release melatonin. Then there's the issue of calcification. The pineal gland can accumulate calcium deposits over time, which may impair its function. While this is a normal part of aging, some studies have noted higher rates of calcification in patients with conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Some theories suggest factors like high fluoride exposure might speed this up, but the evidence for this is not yet robust. Supporting your overall health with a clean diet and good hydration is a logical step for all your organs, including this one. Finally, there's meditation. While there is no direct proof meditation can decalcify the gland, some preliminary research suggests long-term meditators may have increased melatonin levels and even structural differences in their pineal glands. Focusing on the point between the eyebrows, the traditional spot for the Ajna chakra, can promote deep relaxation. This creates the ideal internal environment for all your body's systems, including your neuroendocrine system, to function at their best. Conclusion. So, has science proven the third eye is real? The answer is a resounding and nuanced yes. Not as a magical eye, but as a biological reality that surprisingly mirrors ancient spiritual intuition. The pineal gland, this tiny pine cone-shaped organ, is the biological counterpart to the metaphor. It's a real organ that translates light into the language of your body. It's our evolutionary link to a more literal third eye from our distant past. It's the regulator of our daily rhythms and the subject of fascinating theories about consciousness itself. The ancient mystics who spoke of a third eye didn't have MRYS, yet they understood its importance. They knew that aligning with natural cycles of light and dark and turning attention inward was key to well-being. Science is now validating that ancient wisdom, showing us how these practices directly support the health of the pineal gland. The third eye isn't just a myth. It's a part of your neurobiology waiting to be supported. By harmonizing our modern lives with its ancient needs, we can improve our sleep, balance our moods, and maybe, just maybe, unlock a deeper perception of our own reality.